You're my husband, so this is part your baby.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm not raising another man's child.
Why? We're married. Yes, you don't have a choice. What do you mean? So you're saying you want a divorce?
Yeah.
No! Then you're gonna go to hell. No, that's not happening. You're Catholic. What do you mean?
Are you on drugs?
No, I mean hyped up on hormones, but what do you mean? This discussion just needs to be finalized today.
I don't know if this is genuine or not. I would assume, I hope it's a skit and just like someone trying to be funny. But guys, if the guy said he's not gonna raise his wife's son from a I guess an act of adultery, what's so surprising about him saying he's not going to raise the child, even if he is Catholic? Roman Catholics have a like stringent view on divorce, but they still, obviously there are still ways in which you can get divorced. So if she was unfaithful to him, that would obviously be a valid reason under the Roman Catholic Church for him to divorce her. But it's crazy, it's mind-boggling, mind-bending, in fact, mind-numbing, at the fact that the woman presumably cheated on him and is expecting him to raise the child as if nothing is happening, as if nothing happened. And it makes sense why he's saying, are you on drugs? Are you like, what's wrong with you? Because for a woman to do that and then to act like, yeah, let's still play happy homes, let's still play happy families, if that is the case, you can't be serious. But what would you do in that situation? There are some men out there who they'll be like, look, well, they'll do it. They'll raise the child, not because of anything to do with the mother, not at all, but because they want to truly model God's view on marriage. So what am I talking about? Well, God talks about himself married to his people all the way throughout the Bible, right? And when you think about it from that perspective, God is always perfect. God is always on point, but his people aren't necessarily that way. Think about the book of Judges. The famous quote that comes out of the book of Judges that I said multiple times is, every man did what was right in his own eyes. There were times in the Bible where the majority of God's people, the people of God, were doing evil stuff. They were given over to idolatry. And God judged them. God chastised them. God separated from them. Okay, you want to do that? Go and do that somewhere else. But you know what God did always? When the people repented, he always took them back. And this is the reason why some people in that situation, as crazy as that situation is, she wasn't doing it in that video. So this wouldn't necessarily count as a repentance or as a situation where someone is returning. Think the prodigal son. If she repented, genuine repentance, apologized and said, you know what, I'm sorry, forgive me, can we make this work? There are some men who are so much so after God's heart, they would forgive her and stay with her. And I know what you're thinking there. You may be like, that's not me. And I get it. There are people who that isn't them. But that would be the thinking from that man's perspective or that woman's perspective. Because men cheat and women cheat, right? But is that going to be the norm? No. Most people are going to be like, well, look, adultery is a grounds for divorce. You did this. Like, no, I'm not doing this. Sayonara, hasta la luego. So the best thing I always say is just don't put your partner in this sort of situation. Don't give them a reason to leave the marriage. Think long term. Think about the damage, what you could do today, but can have long-term ramifications into the future. Think about it. Those are the kind of things, on top of the fact that doing something which is ungodly, doing something which isn't going to be pleasing in God's sight. Thinking about all this stuff is important, because that will separate you from a lot of people who are thinking about stuff right now and only thinking about stuff right now. The more you can have a balance of thinking, or the more you think about today, but also think about today in connection to tomorrow and the many tomorrows that are going to come after it, the better positioned you are to succeed. So if you think about this scenario, this woman, right? If she didn't only think about that moment right there of pleasure with some stray guy, right? I normally talk about the stray woman. Strange woman. Let's call this guy the strange man, right? If she was not only thinking about potential pleasure in that particular moment, but I was thinking about the fact that, wait, hold on. She could get pregnant. Her husband could divorce her. Her children could be looking at her a certain way. Her friends are going to look at her a certain way. Her family's going to look at her a certain way. It's going to jeopardize potentially work in the future. It could potentially jeopardize her business. If they get divorced, the only people that win in divorce are the lawyers that cash the checks. Divorce is big business for the lawyers, but it's not big business for the man or the woman. It's actually one of the foolish things you could do. It's one of the silliest things you could do from a financial perspective, to divide your finances in half. That's what you call liquidation. Most people don't liquidate their assets other than in a situation where they are in financial difficulties, because assets produce you money. So for you to liquidate those assets typically means you're going to be losing money. Assets make you money. To liquidate them, you're typically going to be losing money. The times when people will liquidate assets is when they're normally going to take that liquid and put it into something bigger, which is going to produce more assets for them, or more cash flow, more revenue for them in the future. Divorce isn't one of those things. So when I think about this, I'm just like, no way, Jose, this can't be real. But if this is real, these are some of the different ways you can think about it. And as always, as I always like to say, we have to react righteously. So reacting righteously is not only thinking about today, but thinking about today and how it connects to tomorrow, and how it connects to tomorrow after that, and the tomorrow after that, and that. And when you think that way, you're going to be thinking more in line with how God thinks, and less in line with how the devil or the world thinks. You see, the devil is the original fool. He had these delusions of grandeur, as they like to say, and he thought about that in the moment where he decided to rebel against God. He didn't focus enough on the fact that God is eternal, God is all powerful, God is all wise, the fact that God created him. He just focused on the here and now. I want to ascend to the north. I want to sit on the throne of God. I want people to worship me. All temporary emotions. Instead of thinking to himself, wait, hold on. This might seem like a bright idea right now, but really and truly, if I think about this in the long term, God is smarter than me. He has more resources than me. He created me. He's better than me. He's bigger than me. He's stronger than me. He's faster than me. I can't win. Okay, yeah. This isn't wise. But when you do things like that, when you're not thinking about all these things in this sequence, you're doing and being like the devil. And when you act like the devil, you're going to get what the devil is going to get. The devil is destined to be destroyed. That's in his destiny. That's what's going, that's what's at the end of the devil's road. So anything you do which is in line with the devil, best believe at the end of that road, whether it's the short road or a long road, is destruction. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my content and you want to see more of this sort of stuff. And as always, most importantly, don't forget to react righteously, guys. It'll be the best thing you've ever done. God bless.